Would you like a deck that can help you stop the spam of the endless of these T14s, Barbarisses, and the VDV Sturm? Yeah, well, I'm getting pretty sick of that spam too, so yeah, me too, let's get into it. Now, look, I know the update's around the corner, but these guys are still extremely irritating, and you know what, they can be still extremely irritating when the Rosgvardia update drops, because you're gonna get the spammy tactics but even more cheaper. These guys are going to be similarly priced in the new update to the Baltics. And with the amazing Russian armor that you can get for very reasonable prices, just like the, well, very cheap prices, just like the T90, the T80, it's a lot. It is very difficult to deal with. The Barbarous, especially in this configuration, is still very damn lethal. And as soon as you see this, by the way, you should smoke out and get the fuck out. Armata, very difficult to play against, but hey, I'm going to show you the deck that can do it. So, it obviously works works well now with the slightly broken, not my favorite state of the game, but you guys have asked me for a deck video that can help you play for the next couple of weeks while we do. I mean, 2 weeks is still a long time. Oh, sorry, it's the end of summer, so yeah, it's still a long time that until the DLC drops. And we're going to help you. So US, you see I've got an abundance of decks here. I haven't updated a few from the PT. These are all my event decks, but US Anti-Spam Fest. There we go, that's a nice name for it. And the specializations I'm going to go for are the Baltics, because you want to fight fire with fire. If they've got cheap spam, you have even cheaper spam. So that works nicely. Now, the other issue is that we've got a big issue with vehicles, so an abundance of armor. So there's a couple of methods to deal with it. You can obviously go for this, but then you're really missing out on your helicopters and aircraft. This is a good option. This is a good option. This is a decent option as well. You're missing out on your helicopters a lot, but what we're going to focus on today is this bad boy. Yeah. I mean, yeah. You're going to enjoy this, because this thing is going to go bye-bye once it sees the abundance of infantry and special forces infantry that can have big boy RPGs to absolutely lure them in and decimate them. Now, why we're focusing so hard on an infantry heavy sort of build-up is because infantry has infinite resupply with these vehicles. Essentially, the XA-80s are going to be absolute troopers in here, as are the Vilkas, to be fair. So we've got plenty of things that are going to really help us out in this thing. And yeah, when it comes to an abundance of Russian ATGMs, etc., this is a lovely vehicle as well, as is this. But yeah, we're going to have a lot of bases covered. But as always, we're going to start with the Recon tab and work our way down. Now, Recon tab is great. Now, the Sentinel's issue these days is the fact that Russian AA is obviously quite good, and it's not as bad. It's not as rare for them to switch their radar on and be shot. So these get shot down way more than they used to. You can obviously go for the Reaper, just because you can put Hellfires on it, and those Hellfires, by the way, do work against vehicles and people as well. But it is high altitude, and it will probably be shot down. So yeah, is it worth it? Well, I'll let you decide. But you've got two great options here. I will ultimately go for the Sentinel, because the deck that I'm building is going to be the perfect flanky play. And if you put this thing on the flank, it does become harder to spot than down in the middle. And it does become that little bit more effective. Right, I am going to start with the infantry, because there is a shit ton of really, really good infantry here. RRC is absolutely my go-to, just because this is fantastic against infantry and fantastic against armor. Spam these out, put them in ambush positions, they're going to do really, really well. You got to remember that this 84 is has the same stats apart from the range as the Moors, so it is very, very capable. It is the HP high power. I don't know what it stands for really. So we're going to have a lot of these. You don't need the standoff. It's not as effective as these guys in the close range, and the armor's a nice little boost as well. Obviously, Firm and Barracks will be a problem, but we'll talk about that in a second. Green Berets, do we actually need them? It's a bit of a tough one. I think, honestly, Punishers are quite good just because of the airburst thing, but we're just not going to bother with them. SD Scouts, now this is where these two squads together are kind of unstoppable. They are absolutely phenomenal, and they just work so incredibly well. Obviously, this is for your range and your Carl Gustav M4. You can actually go for the SD Scouts. There really isn't much difference. You do get a nicer bit of range. It's not top attack, and you actually get slightly more penetration and damage with that weapon, but definitely don't go for the SUV. So I'll let this be up to you to decide. The reason I prefer the Jaeger is because this is direct fire. This is long range, and yeah, the problem with the 800 meters is it's not that much more than this, but it takes a while to track, whereas obviously when you fire this, it just hits. There isn't much pissing about. So yeah, we're going to max both of these guys out. They work really insanely well. Not going to go for any Spartans, and I'll tell you why, because their only sort of real advantage is to have the spike, at which point this vehicle becomes a little bit too expensive for my liking overall. Don't get me wrong, the spike is great, but you can't, even though it's got infinite supply, it can't resupply itself. So it becomes a bit of an expensive vehicle for that. Okay, KNT, are we going to take these? So, no, is the short and sweet answer. If we were going to take them, we'd take them in the Sniperit. Basically snipers, but Estonian. For the same price, you can get Ranger snipers, and they're better in every single way. They are just great. And if you do want to upgrade them, again, I'll leave this up to you. This really is a seriously good option, not only because you can obviously kill you know, AA systems in the back line quite comfortably. You can with this as well, you just have to get a bit closer, but yeah, this is obviously a lot more effective at killing vehicles. The best part about upgrading them is the fact that you get AT4s, and this is the only sniper team that gets RPGs, which is really damn sexy. So obviously when people see your team, obviously high elo players, they'll know that you've got an AT4, so they'll just shoot you from long range, but otherwise players will usually send a light vehicle like one of these, whatever, to kill your snipers, or a helicopter, and you can actually, if you don't get spotted, shoot that RPG at the helicopter too, so it does do a fair amount of damage. It is quite good. So we are going to put the snipers here. I will actually have them upgraded just because I've got so many points to play with, which is really, really nice. Right, continuing on, Pararescue. Pararescue is phenomenal in the SCT combination, not only because you get a laser, which we'll talk about in a sec, why lasers are important. You do obviously get one with these guys too, but the stealth means that even when you get discovered, you still... sorry, it does make it so much harder for you to get discovered. This is a seriously good machine gun, and you can do CQB stuff with this. Absolutely you can, and breach and clear buildings for 70 points. That is absolutely a good strategy. But I've got Delta Force. They just do the room clearance stuff a little bit better. Now, they don't fit into any of the vehicles to be jump out boys for me, so that is a slight issue. But the Zeliukai do, and they're going to be the actual CQB infantry clearing team for me. So yeah, yeah, these guys are fantastic, honestly. One of the best units, because not only do they have flashbangs and shotguns, so aka perfect building clearers, but also the bazooka, so it actually makes it more attractive to me than Delta Force CQB. Obviously Delta at long range is nigh unstoppable, but that's a different story. So cool, we'll move on. We'll continue with the Recon tab. Scimitars, they are absolutely perfect at fighting an infantry spam. They are just perfect. They're nice and cheap, and they're surprisingly quick. You don't need turn-up armor, in all honesty, because the 16 HP does not matter. The only reason getting above 15 HP matters is because a Hellfire does 15 damage. But you're obviously not fighting against Hellfires here, so this is really not important. You still get your smoke either way. A little bit more resistance, of course, but it's really not that important. Russian RPGs they get through will kill you no matter what, so just go for the slightly cheaper option and spam these bad boys out. This thing, I've never really... yeah, you don't need it. It is dirt cheap. This is a really nice anti-infantry fire support at long range, but we're going to have enough to deal with infantry. I think, you know what, just for bans, I will stick a couple of these in. Okay, so we've got a Jaegerist RRC, Pararescue. Yeah, these are the guys that I want to put in with the Stingers. And essentially, well, here's the options, right? You can either have those, or you can have Ranger Stingers, which perform the exact same function with heavier fire support with these machine guns. They are phenomenally good. Or the opportunity is that you go for Javelins. It's a tough one, but I think I'm going to have enough top attack stuff. So yeah, we're going to go for Stingers here, and we're not going to bother with the STT now. Don't freak out. I know what you're thinking, but the STT is fantastic, but I just don't really have a specific need for them. I'm going to have enough AA cover, so that's how our infantry is looking right now. It is quite a good combo. We can put this drone in just to clear out our back line, because actually this does do quite a lot of damage quite comfortably. Even if you put it with just Sidewinders, it's fantastic, really. Okay, so this is a really nice vehicle to have in the deck as well. Okay, we're going to focus on the infantry, then we're going to go for the transport vehicles and come back to completing the deck. Now, we've already established that this is going to be the CQB unit. It is phenomenal. I can't get enough of this. I'm not going to suck it off anymore. This is really good. Obviously, we've established that they are similar to the STT. They don't have their stealth, but they have the heavier machine gun, which is just unreal. It's basically like a 50 cal in many ways. I actually prefer it for various reasons to a 50. Obviously, Stinger there as well, so nice that it's at far range to provide the machine gun fire support, and it still chips away at helicopters, etc. So really nice unit. Cool. Big blobs of infantry. How do we deal with it? Well, that's what the Kite's Elite is for. These are actually not bad options at all, especially for when you're dealing with tank spam, but we've got other units that can do that job, so we're going to go for the Kite's Elite with their high explosive B300. We're going to spam 4 of these, should do it. I mean, I could go up to 6 just because of how cheap they are. We'll see how it comes later with how much points I've got. So when it comes to Delta Force, I don't really have a purpose for them. They're 110 points, making them slightly expensive. They're great at CQB, but so are these guys. We've got that covered, and these fit into one of these vehicles. They're very fantastic against infantry at long range, no doubt about that, but so are these guys, so a lot of the other squads, and actually we're absolutely going to put these bad boys in, because not only do they rip apart infantry, helicopters, they also do quite good damage to vehicles as well. So long range infantry clearance, we've got that covered too. So I don't really see a point. Cool, moving on. We're not going to need the Pure Run or the Groms or this thing. It's nowhere near as good as Ranger Stingers, and it's a very similar price, so there's no point. Don't worry about the number of missiles you get. 4 is not many, but remember, you've got infinite supply. So there we go. Right, the Milan. This has to be the Spike. You can actually have it as the Javelin, but the Spike it's a little bit more reliable. It does become a bit expensive. That is a big problem, and you are going to get RT to smithereens as soon as you see this. But the Spike is the only thing that can outrange the tanks, whereas obviously with this Javelin, you can't. So a tank that shoots at 1,400 meters will kill you, whereas the Javelin can't fire back. So we do have to go for the Spikes here, and I am going to max them out in an urban map like the new Oil Rush with lots of skyscrapers. Or high-rise buildings, whatever you want to call them. The Spike, it's just the gift that keeps on giving. Cool. Okay, now we need basically lots of RPGs to deal with infantry. With the armor spam, which is again a Russian trademark. Your options are quite good. You can have obviously Rangers CQC, by the way, if you wish to. They are phenomenal. Or you can have them in this setup. Still a very, very powerful squad. Does a lot of damage against infantry at various ranges, as well as having a very decent launcher. Again, numbers does win, because remember, if you have a Moors squad, which I am going to put in, but if you have a Moors squad and it gets bombed, that's it. Goodbye, Moors. Yeah, you're kind of stuffed then, aren't you? Whereas if you have a lot of these guys and one of them gets bombed, well, there's still plenty of others to pick up the slack, as it were. So already you've got quite a beefy army forming here. You've got all your bases covered. So you've got your anti-tank close range, anti-tank long range. You've got your anti-infantry long range, anti-infantry close range, CQB, so room clearance, and you've got your stingers. You basically have your infantry covered already, all bases covered. But it doesn't mean to say that you can't have a bit more. There's a lot of really good options that still exist out here. So I'm very tempted to max these guys out. I think 6 is more than enough to do the job that we need to do, but it's really tempting to just spam them out. Bear in mind as well that you've got these RPG guys as well, so we potentially really covered that as far as we need to. So I'm going to next take out some more dirt cheap line infantry because these are really, really good. They essentially, let's play spot the difference, right? You've got slightly longer range with these guys, but these guys are definitely more effective overall. And yeah, they're just nice and cheap, and you can keep spamming them out. I wouldn't go for this. It is nice to have that 800-meter range, but again, we've already got the spikes long range, so I don't see the point. Yeah, we'll go for these guys all day, every day. Some honorable mentions for units. The Moors, I'm not going to have it just because they are such a squishy squad against other infantry, which is again something that Russia does spam out a lot, VDV Sturm, etc. So just having numbers of RPGs is going to be a lot better for us. And yeah, okay, we do just have a lot of bazookas here in general. Yeah, crazy that I don't take Delta. I never take Delta. I think it's just too expensive. And as America, there is a real risk of just having too expensive stuff. So yeah, that's why the Baltics pairs very well. Okay, we're very limited on the vehicles tab, and this is one of the deck's weaknesses. Okay, so Leopards, absolutely. They have to go in. It's an absolute must. 50 cal, it's an optional for you. I'm not going to spend my money on that just because I'm already tight, so let's not push it. This, you can actually run the tank in either 3 of these combinations and it's going to work well. So, up armoring it, you do lose a bit of speed by the way, but that's not really important. Up armoring it is really good just for that 1 extra HP. This, by the way, can survive top attack armor. This top attack armor can survive 2 direct hits from Arty, and also the Lima struggles against it a little bit more, although, of course, altogether not that much. But this is the heaviest top armor of any tank in the game, and the front armor is really decent too. So you can take this. It's absolutely a valid strategy. I don't see much point with the active protection. I do see the point, but it also has downsides. Now, the thing with Russia is, obviously, they have an abundance of long-range ATGMs. So when you get an ATGM fire at you, you will, of course, stop the first one, but the second one will always go through. So you need to micro hard. You need to micro really, really hard, because the ATGM will always get through unless you smoke. So at that point, it becomes a question of how good is your micro. If your micro is really good, then you can absolutely survive on just the default and save yourself quite a lot of money, because for this price it is the most effective tank in the game. Yeah, with this, look, again, I do see the benefits. I just it does become a little bit expensive. It's still a very, very valuable thing to have, but the price does yeah, it does sting a little bit, especially when you're trying to keep stuff as cheap as possible to try and keep the spam at bay. The next thing I'm going to take is this drone. It is phenomenal. It's so great, just because obviously the Javelin in itself is 1,500 meters, so it's very, very effective. But this 30mm cannon is so good against light vehicles and infantry that it's just rude not to take it. It's also phenomenal against helicopters, so it really is a fantastic bit of kit to take. Highly recommend this drone. You don't need to upgrade it and have it in the expensive configuration. It's just not worth it. Again, spikes are fantastic, but they do have their limitations. You don't need the Bushmaster. The 30mm is even better. So keep it cheap. Keep them spamming. They are really, really great value for money. Now, when it comes to the G-Wagon, I do like to do cheeky flanky stuff with it. You could take 2. Oh, no, you can't with my build. Damn it. You definitely don't need to upgrade it and take an expensive G-Wagon for sure, and definitely don't have this. The only purpose of this really is to try your luck and get it somewhere into the back line for dirt cheap. When they're so dirt cheap, you really don't care if they die, because if they kill anything, they've traded up. So yeah, it's in itself a really great vehicle. We'll do this. 4 of these, 3 of these. Nice. Support. You're a little bit limited on your support, but your support is also quite dirt cheap. So, Iris. People say that this is terrible. They are right, it is terrible. Do not upgrade it though, because it becomes terrible still, but more expensive. Keep it cheap and keep it on supply. If you lose it, it's only 140 points. Again, you need to kill 1 plane to make up for having 2 of these. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to have the supply, of course, but the NASAMS is an absolute must that you do have to take. If you didn't know, by the way, you can upgrade it to an you know, a more effective version of this, essentially. You do get terminal guidance, it does more damage, it's a slightly slower missile though, which is important. You can have this, and I would, apart from I do need the AMRAAMs to take our helicopters. These are super effective at killing Russian helicopters, super effective. They can one-shot the light stuff, and to be honest, they quite reliably hit the K-52s and the Mi-28s, so this is an absolutely goated vehicle. You absolutely must take 2 of them. So this is an absolute must for these 2. When it comes to supply, you do not need the Unimog. It is the same speed as this. That has a machine gun on it. Nice. You're never going to carry infantry on this. You're just going to carry them in APCs just to keep your infinite supply alive. Remember that. So this becomes a very, very attractive option. You also get 2 extra HP, but that's not important. Essentially, this vehicle drops a supply just for the AA, and that is it. And to repair your tanks. But that is it. Unimogs, you just don't need them. Okay, next bit is to get a field gun. Now, there's quite a few different options that you can go for. You can, of course, even go for this if you wish, but yeah, there's absolutely no point in my eyes. The reload is pathetically slow. 8 to 10 seconds, I'm never going to take this. But in a game where volume of fire is important and having 20... Yeah, it's not even that much ammunition, is it? This is better. This is better. So the decision comes down to whether you want this or this. Now, we do have a fair amount of laser guidance in our deck. With the drones, yeah, again, the one good thing about taking STT is that extra laser that you can get. So it does tear me whether to take... Yeah, no. It is a tough decision. I'm going to stick with my guns with the Rangers just because of that insane firepower that these things provide. But if you just want to go for sheer volume of fire, it is absolutely these guys. They have a really nice reload rate, and they're very good. They don't have any lasers though, and definitely don't use them in the clusters. It's just not very good. With the K9, it's a slightly slower fire rate. It is noticeable, but if you upgrade it for a very similar price, I mean 5 points more, you do get 6 laser guided shells. And the 6 laser guided shells are quite noticeable. Now, you do get less ammunition overall, so the trade-off is for you. If you just want to keep firing HE non-stop, this is absolutely your go-to. If you want to get some tank kills with your lasers, which is, you know, quite cheeky, then this is your go-to. Range-wise, they're basically exactly the same. In terms of the HE, they're exactly the same. More ammunition, 6 precise ammunitions. So if you get 2 of these firing the tanks, you will get 6 tank kills, provided you don't miss. And that in itself, for me, is worth going for the K9. If you go for the Panzerhaubitze 2000, I've absolutely got no issue with that whatsoever. They're very, very similar in many, many ways. I do actually really like that these have smoke. I wish these had smoke too, but they don't. I mean, yeah, a bit of an issue. By the way, when it comes to taking a smoke mortar, you're welcome to take this, but I find that the smokes on here will do the job, especially on the Panzerhaubitze 2000, because when you look at it, the reload time is actually quicker on the 2000. Yeah, the aim time's quicker on this, of course, but you're going to get, yeah, this is your better option for smoke. I'm pretty sure the smoke lasts longer as well. It disperses slowly, and it's bigger. So, yeah, use these guys for smoke. Therefore, you don't need your money on one of these. And by the way, its range is also pathetic, so you have a higher chance of losing it. Right, okay, the last thing, this support tab is honestly sufficient. You can, if you want, throw an extra one of these, and why not? Treat yourself, go wild, go crazy. But yeah, it is actually a seriously good option. But I think I'll just have a couple of these with the Mistral, because the Mistral is, again, fantastic. 9 damage, which is quite significant, really helps chip away at the Russian healers. So this is all you need for your support tab. I think that's literally all you need. Right, helicopters then. Obviously been talking at you for quite some time, but we're making good progress. Helicopters, right. This is all the helicopters you really need. I do love my Ospreys just because of how insanely quick they are. They are beautiful death traps. I wouldn't actually ever go in one, but that's a separate issue. Comanches. Fuck yes. You absolutely have to stick Comanches in there. Right. Do not make them expensive. Their beauty, their magic is in their stealth, so insanely OP stealth, of course. Their magic is the fact that they have so much stealth that it just hurts. You really do struggle to spot these. So if you put this into a backline, just with Hydras, just with that 20 mil, you're going to trade up massively well. Massively, massively well. No matter what you do, you're going to do really, really well. So have 2 of these, keep periodically sending them in on a suicide mission. You can stick some Hellfires on it. I don't really see the purpose. You just bumping the price up ever so slightly and making it sort of trade less well. I'm going to run it at 140 points. The 2000 versus the 2400 meter spot range really doesn't bother me. I'm quite happy to just send this in and get some frags on backline Russian stuff. So yeah, this is literally the design of the Comanche, and that's exactly what I'm going to use it for. When it comes to requiring heavier firepower, so the Hellfires, for example, we are going to be relying on this. Now, the DAP is not that strong. There are some caveats. Bear in mind, it can bring in infantry into some cheeky spaces, which is really, really nice. This is good for Hellfires. The autocannons are actually quite tasty. I do enjoy using them. Not as much damage as I'd like, but they do the job. 4 Hellfires is enough, because this is literally smash and dash. So send them in, fire, get out as soon as possible. The 25% ECM is insanely effective, and it does a really, really good job of making missiles miss. You get flares, so that increases the miss chance as well. And it is super fragile, so one direct hit will down this, but hopefully the 25% ECM gives you a slightly higher survival rate. Okay, now we're a bit stuck for the other choices, aren't we? So, yeah, the transports that you can get. Again, we've established that this is good. I rarely ever actually use these helicopters because they get spotted really easily. So wherever you drop them, they are going to get spotted. And it's just a bit of a shame because, yeah, your supply will get hit. Remember that Russians tend to have an abundance of arty. So using these guys kind of seems pointless. I do really like this with the grenade launcher. I think it's super cool. GPMG looks good on that, or KSP-50 FN, whatever you want to call it. For Stingers, I honestly don't believe that you need a Stinger helicopter. I think I'd rather have these as, again, a super dirt cheap suicide unit in the back line. I know, crazy, isn't it? You can go for the Stingers. It's 85 points. And if you want to use these as just a QRF, that is absolutely fine. If you want to use these as a backline assistant to the Comanche, so Comanche goes in first and these guys follow in later to just try and amplify the damage that you're going to cause, that's absolutely fine too. Otherwise, the helicopter tab shouldn't be used too much. It should be as a reaction to certain situations, because again, Russian AA SureRad against helicopters is incredibly strong. So you don't want to be relying on these guys at all. You want to be relying on your abundance of elite infantry and spammy infantry too. For the air tap, right, you are spoiled for choice here. Now, it doesn't look like there's much, but you honestly are spoiled for choice. We're going to take 2 Raptors. We are... there's 2 schools of thought. This is a good fighter, but it's very expensive for 6 AMRAAMs. You can, of course, opt to go for the longer range missiles, but it becomes really expensive for what it's capable of. Remember that these missiles just aren't that effective. What I actually prefer to do, and this is a pro strat bro, is to kill Russian RT and AA with it. Now, this is really good for that job, especially with Stormbreakers. It is the fastest vehicle that can, the fastest jet that can bring smart bombs in, so it's very satisfying to use. Idea is that you scream these bad boys in and try and get some frags with with this against backline stuff. You've got 8 of these things. They can target 4 targets. So you put 2 per target, so 4 targets. If you get this to work well, even if you kill 1 AA, you're close to breaking even. If you kill 2, that's it, you've done really well. So you've got 4 potential targets, and it's worthwhile. This will get through and drop its payload, not only because it's fast with afterburners, the ECM, but also because of the stealth at low altitude. You got to work on timing these right, but that's a skill thing, so make sure you do that well. F-35s, we absolutely have to have them, and for these, you are absolutely always going to want to have the 2,000 pounder bombs. This is because 2 of them, because they do very well against infantry, but also because you can laze one of them. And killing a tank, again, if you kill an Armata with one of these, that is in itself pretty damn good. So yeah, absolutely worthwhile to take these. Very expensive unit, only use it if you think you can trade well. Now, in terms of the other stuff that you want, like, yeah, don't get me wrong, I fully acknowledge that I'm missing an air superiority fighter. I wouldn't bother with these. They're just, they're too expensive for what they are, and they don't often get through. Instead, we're going to go for cruise missile spam. Yeah, all 16 of these. Cruise missiles are still very important to the game. You can, of course, go for this option, but I prefer the B2. Now, sacrifices have to be made. Oh shit, too many sacrifices. Okay, my mistake. I thought I could squeeze this into the deck with cutting just one of these. I would have cut this one, but it's obviously not enough. Oh dear. Okay. Reassess my decision then. So, you were not going to cruise missile spam. Yeah, sorry about this. We're going to have to go for... Hold on. Am I... Really? Okay, this budget does not stretch as far as I thought it would. Yeah, no, I am massively... Fine, okay. Put one of these in, fuck it. If anything, it's just a good anti-seed kind of thing. Yeah, everyone loves the spooky. It is phenomenal. Yeah, wow, can't even afford that. That is actually kind of crazy. Okay, this can just be our little absorber of missiles. To be honest, for 150 points, it might be worth it just to clear some ammunition from the enemy. This will be better, and it can power drop. Okay, there we go, sorted. So, okay, you still have competent aircraft. They do all have AMRAAMs, which, again, aren't that effective. You are going to be hoping that your teammates bring the packs, etc. But otherwise, you still have a really good selection of aircraft. Again, this will do very, very well against the Russian spam, and this will do well against the backline abundance of Russian RT, AA, MLRS, everything that it has that's really, really irritating. If I could have it my way, in a perfect scenario, I'd have one of these with Stormbreakers and then another F-22 with just AMRAAMs set up. But we can't do that. And these do become way too expensive to be an air superiority fighter, so that's why I prefer it to be something that can still deliver anti-drone missiles, basically. But in this game with AA working extremely well, You don't want to be relying on these against SU-35 spam, etc. So this is the deck, how it's looking so far. It is phenomenal. You've got close to 4,000 points just on your, basically, okay, 3,500 on just infantry alone. And this infantry is going to be deadly. The next thing we need to do is put in a couple of stealth hawks. We've still got 1,000 points to play with, so plenty of points to experiment with. Let's get 2 of these. They're a bit expensive, but if you want to do backline cheeky breaky stuff like I do love to do, this is absolutely the way forward. It kind of annoys me that the Airsoft, by the way, does not have infinite supply, even though clearly you can put in a lot of storage on them, and that's what the SAS do. They make them long-range supply vehicles. Yeah, little birds, I'll just take a couple, but I don't think I need them really. When you do take them though, definitely put the optics on it, because it's a dirt cheap Recon helicopter at that point that you don't mind losing. Okay, with the infantry, we are absolutely, as we've said already, we're going to spam out these. So let's get 4 of them here. I actually do think it's worthwhile upgrading them just for the smoke. It just means that they are more likely to reach their destination. I also really like the grenade launcher on them. It works really well. So use that. For the other vehicles, right, where's my Baltic units? Here's the Spike. No point for the Humvee. Again, Humvee has infinite supply, Arsov doesn't. A bit stupid, isn't it? Okay, yeah. CV90s are good, especially en masse. All you need to do is put the armor on them. So that's what we're going to do. When they break through hard. They do very well against light vehicles and against infantry too. I wouldn't go for the APS. It is good, but it's... No, it is very good, to be fair. I'll make that your decision. Yeah, with the APS, it is quite an attractive option in many respects. Okay, I'm very tempted to go for that. The Vilkas does the job well, especially with the spikes as well, but it's just a bit too fragile for my liking. I definitely wouldn't go for the APS. It's just not worth the 125 points. The CV90 does the job much better. Yeah, surely I've got an abundance of spikes. The APS is useful just because of the Russian ATGM spam, but I don't know. Ultimately, some bombs can just go through it, so I will keep it cheap. We're still over budget though, so we do need more spammy vehicles. I will cut one. I'll cut one of each. I don't need them. This can fit 14 men, and that's 2 squads. And if I'm going to do backline sneaky stuff, it's going to have to be on these vehicles anyway. Okay. I don't want to cut any of my infantry, because it is very effective. So yeah, I'd rather just go for more of these with their grenade launchers, and just to basically make sure I can always bring them out to the battlefield. Should I cut anything else for 35 points to make this deck perfect? 6 of these is actually not enough. You might be surprised, but yeah, if I do that, 85 points, can I cut something out for 85 points? No, nothing that I wouldn't regret losing. What's this again? Oh yeah. No, I like the spam. Yeah, I like the spam. Alright. We'll cut one of these, and again, little bit. I do want to keep it just because it is such a good thing. Silent Hawk, I really don't see the point. Honestly, it's way too expensive. And it probably will get spotted with the abundance of Russian AA, so it's just way too risky. It's not my playstyle. Okay, so we'll cut the Silent Hawk. We'll get an extra dirt cheap scout. And instead, yeah, we can put... Damn it, we can't put one of those in. Alright, okay. This will have to do. 7 of those will have to do. Cool, that is my deck. I hope you like looking at my deck. It is a beautiful deck. And it is going to be quite effective, especially if we... Yeah, these vehicles, by the way, are super good for just putting on the flank, as are the Stingers. Potentially regretting my choice not to have the STT involved, but hopefully these Ranger snipers will more than make up for it, especially if they're really nice stealth and we can get them in nice deep positions. We're never going to use them to fire unless it's an emergency, so yeah, that works absolutely fine for me. Cool. Yeah, we're pretty sorted here. We're pretty happy. Lots of anti-spam stuff. Good anti-armor capabilities with the abundance of ATGMs. And an overall pretty nifty strong deck. By the way, with your spikes, when you use them, they are obviously incredibly precious and incredibly expensive. If they're not actively firing at something, jump them out of the building, keep one of these behind the building, jump them into these, and just let the RT destroy the building whilst these are perfectly safe and sound inside of these. Obviously spread them out, and when you do see vehicles within range, that's when you jump them out and start using them. So Anti-Spam Fest is a perfect name for this deck. It is a really good one. I hope you enjoy using it, and I wish you good luck in the wars to come. Thanks so much for watching. Take care. Bye bye.